Hey guys, so today I'm going to be filming my March wrap up. Sorry that I didn't post a video on Monday, but if you saw the video I posted before that, I was getting over a cold and it hit me with a second wind. It came out of nowhere, so I was sure I had like pneumonia or something. I was out for 2 weeks, but I'm better now. Just a slight cough. I don't know how I got so sick, but as I'm sure you can tell, I also cut and dyed my hair. I felt like I wanted a little bit of a change and I wasn't happy with the haircut I got, so I decided to take it into my own hands and just dye it and kind of start anew. So it's like a bluish black and it's still taking a bit of getting used to, but I don't hate it and that's always a good sign. So I read 6 books in March, which I'm very happy with, but I didn't get to nearly as many books that were on my TBR, so they are probably going to carry into next month. I haven't decided yet, so I'll post my TBR video tomorrow, but I think I've done enough talking, so let's just get into the wrap up. So the first book that I read in March was Rumblefish by S.E. Hinton, who also wrote The Outsiders. So this was not the original copy that I read from. A friend of mine lent me her copy, and I loved it so much that I immediately went out and bought my own. So this book kind of follows the same plot as The Outsiders. We follow a young boy named Rusty as he is living in, I'm not sure what year, but it's definitely not today's society. There are gangs and the language is different, and so it kind of follows more of his life with his brother, but then how he is dealing with the personal struggle of living up to his brother's expectations. And yeah, it was really good and it's really hard to explain, but it's very short but very impactful, and the end threw me for a loop as her writing tends to, and I do plan on reading her other book that the same friend lent me. So 5 out of 5 stars, totally recommend. So the next book that I read was The Sleeper and the Spindle, and this was by Neil Gaiman, illustrated by Chris Riddle. This is a retelling reimagining of Snow White as well as Sleeping Beauty. So in this world, Sleeping Beauty is asleep, as is her kingdom because of the spell, but Snow White takes it upon herself to travel to break the spell because it is slowly traveling into her own kingdom. So there were a lot of illustrations in it, which made for a very quick read, and I really enjoyed it. If it ever drops cheaper on Amazon, I'll probably pick up my own copy, but I gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. Then I finished Warm Bodies by Isaac Marion. I was rereading this to get to the sequel, but I didn't get to the sequel, spoiler alert. So I'm really happy that I reread this because it had been so long that I had read it. I'd remembered the general plot, but I didn't remember a lot of the finer details. Like, I remember the characters, but I couldn't remember the impact that they had on the story. So it was really refreshing. It is an adult novel, so it did read a little bit slow for me, so it took me quite a bit of the month to get through, but overall I really enjoyed it. I'd recommend it if you're looking for a zombie, but know that it is very romance heavy. Well, not romance in that way, but there is a strong romantic theme. So I did give it 4 out of 5 stars. I also read My Friend Dahmer by Derf Backderf. This is a graphic memoir, and it is about Jeffrey Dahmer. So this memoir is broken up into 4 or 5 different parts, and each part follows a different time in Jeffrey Dahmer's life. So we go from adolescence to teens and right before he started killing. So I really appreciated the different aspects and the different perspectives that this story provided, because the author did do a lot of research into the police files and interviews as well as his own experience. So I felt like this story was told so well. We got a lot of different insight into his history and kind of understanding of his motives, even though he was still wrong in what he did. But I love true crime, so for me the story was just told very well, and the art was very simple, but it was also fitting to the story, if that makes sense. This is one of my favorite graphic novels that I've ever read, as well as probably one of my favorite true crime books that I've ever read. So I did give it 5 out of 5 stars and would totally recommend it. To kind of lighten up the mood that I'd followed this month, I picked up Grace in Style by Grace Helbig. This was her second book. I read the first one 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. So I enjoyed this one, but not as much as the first one. I do have a passion for makeup and fashion and style, but I don't think my passion is as developed to appreciate and understand a book like this. I do find her really funny, and I think a lot of the entries in here were unique, but for me it was just kind of whatever, and is more of like a coffee table book, so I broke it down while I was reading other books. But yeah, I only gave it 3 out of 5 stars, unfortunately. So the last book that I read this month probably took me the longest time to read because I was so sick. I just couldn't concentrate on reading, so I kind of jumped back and forth this and the audiobook, and that was City of Bones by Cassandra Clare. I can finally say I've read this book, I remember this book. Even though it was a reread for me, I didn't really remember a lot of that happened. So if you didn't know, I reread this book this month with my friend Ke-sha, who I will link down below, and both of us, it was a reread, and we both gave it 4 out of 5 stars actually. So I remembered the general plot and the general world, but a lot of the finer details I did not remember. So things would happen, I'd be texting Ke-sha all excited about it. So it's nice to kind of go through this experience with somebody else, and next month we will be continuing on with the series. So I did purchase myself a hardcover copy to celebrate reading it, and I'll probably do that with the rest of the series. So those are all of the books that I read this month. Although I didn't read as many as I planned to, I do feel like I had a pretty successful reading month. I didn't rate anything below 3 stars, and I generally had 4 or higher. So I'm quite content. Hopefully I can keep this up into the next month now that I'm not sick anymore. I'm just trying to focus my time and focus my attention on all of the books that I want to read. And I do actually have a book haul that I need to film because I've been buying books even though I know I shouldn't. But I just need to decide when that will go up. So yeah, tomorrow I'll post my April TBR as well as all of the information for a year-a-thon, which starts on Monday. So make sure you let me know down in the comments what you read this month, or if you read any of the books that I read, we can talk about them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.